Since technologies like the Nook, iPad, and Kindle came out, there has been a debate over whether or not that has affected how people read and how they feel about books. Are paperback books going to disappear? Do people read less and skim more? To find out the answers, we need to know, what technologies do people use to read?
Internet. Only because I do not have a Nook or an iPad.
What?
I've read using the internet for class. I've used a Nook, but I mostly use a Kindle. I own a Kindle, so I read on a Kindle.
I've read on the Kindle and I read on my computer screen.
I've used the iPad to read, and I found that it was a little bit easier than a book, but there were still some complications because, I'm used to holding a book in my hand.
Many people enjoy reading. Why? Is it the weight and thickness of the book? The ability to flip pages until you get to the end, slowly transferring from one hand to the other? Or is it something more? Perhaps it's the ability to get lost in the words, into a world not your own. Perhaps it's just a simple pleasure you find in the act of reading. Or maybe it's both. Have e-readers changed the answer for you?
Sort of reinforced my liking of paper books. I really don't like electronic reading. I prefer paper because it feels good between my fingers and it smells good, and just there's too many good things about reading.
I don't think it's changed my feeling towards reading books because I still have a lot of books at home, so I still actually read all of my books that I have.
No, I actually prefer to read books, just as I did before I read books online. I only read books I'm a very hands-on physical person, so I like to hold something and read. So reading online doesn't really do a whole lot for me besides just reading it. Most of the time I actually even print it out and read it. I won't even read it on the web page because I don't like it.
So, people still love books. Do they read differently? And do you read books differently since you started reading online?
Not really.
Yes, actually, since I started reading online, I started getting books online, I realized that I could take, it's easy to transfer files and things, so transfer a book from a computer to my phone and back, or anywhere I want it. And I also realized that I could find audiobooks for free, so I actually changed my reading habits. I actually listen to audiobooks a lot of times now, like at night before I go to bed. I'll just go to sleep listening to audiobooks.
Not exactly. I still enjoy having my books in my hand and just sitting down and reading whatever I have.
Are there any pros or cons to e-readers?
I find reading on a computer just to be different.
I think differently on the computer, not so much on my Kindle. Because with my computer I have all the other stuff going on too, so if I want to get on the internet and check something out, I can do that too, or if I'm also on Facebook, then if somebody messages me, then that interrupts my reading. But on my Kindle there's not much of a difference because it's just the same kind of format. There's nothing to interrupt. It just, I think, makes it more accessible. I can pretty much read anywhere. If I'm reading a book on my Kindle, I can also read it on my computer if I don't have my Kindle with me. And I think they have a bunch of different technologies, like if you have an iPhone, you can download it on that too. So it just makes it easier to keep up with the book you're reading.
They're much more inclined to read if they can just have it right there and get it whenever, and just sort of carry that around with them and read whenever, and switch between books without having to carry 8 books around. It hasn't changed my preference. I like real books, but I definitely see the merits of e-readers and things of that nature.
E-readers have expanded people's reading options. They are convenient, lightweight, and they make multiple books more accessible. But they also offer potential distractions. It seems as if there's a trade-off for e-readers, just as there are for books. Overall, however, it doesn't seem as if the act or experience of reading has changed, no matter what people are using to read. People still love books, and even though the avenue has changed, most people haven't changed their reading habits. E-readers are just another way to partake in our favorite pastime. In conclusion, I believe Kevin says it best.
No, I still like a real book. Now, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, the Nook is vulgar, and, I don't think the Nook is going to kill the paper book, because I think the paper book is a fixture in just all the societies of the world, to be honest. Everyone made paper books, you can't exist without a paper book. There's something visceral about, having it.